Deontay Wilder against Luis Ortiz for the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the world. This is going to be a fun fight. It is a rematch that was a little surprising. I got to be honest with you, because I feel like Deontay Wilder did all he needed to do against Luis Ortiz, from the standpoint of he beat him. Luis Ortiz was not a guy anybody wanted to fight. Nobody wants to fight Luis Ortiz. You're forced to fight Luis Ortiz. And I think Deontay Wilder got a lot of credibility with that fight against Luis because he stopped a guy nobody wanted to face. He is allegedly 40 years old. He is a southpaw. He is a tremendous technical boxer. He has a lot of power. He's hard to figure out. It's a nightmare for a lot of these guys, especially if you think about, would Anthony Joshua want to fight him? Probably not. Would Andrew Ruiz want to fight him? I mean, probably not first on his list. With Tyson Fury, I mean, Tyson Fury would probably feel the most comfortable out of any of those guys wanting to fight a Luis Ortiz, but he hasn't. I mean, he's kind of just been sticking here fighting whatever bum ESPN puts in front of him. And we'll get to him in a little bit because I have something interesting on Tyson Fury. But Deontay Wilder taking on Luis Ortiz, the only benefit if you're Deontay is you want to go and put all doubt to rest. You want to show that you're better than him. I guess similar to taking on Stavern when he took Stavern on short notice when he was supposed to fight Luis Ortiz originally. He ended up turning him into a meme. And so the only guy who had went the distance with Deontay Wilder, now he obliterated it in 90 seconds. So there's that. But fighting Luis Ortiz again is dangerous. Like let's not mince words. Let's not act like this is an easy fight for him, that this is going to be a cakewalk for him. Luis Ortiz has looked great since the fight against Deontay Wilder, and everybody watching that fight felt the same way, and that was Luis Ortiz was winning that fight. He was winning that fight. He put Deontay in some danger. Probably not as much in danger as everybody said. I think he was more in danger of beating him on the scorecards than he was putting him away in the middle part of that fight. But, this is the thing that's interesting is I don't think a lot of those things are going to change. Unless you feel like Luis Ortiz is truly washed and that he's just, that was the best swing that he had of getting the championship. Unless you truly feel that way, I feel like they're both coming into this with a lot of similar skill sets. The old saying, styles make fights. And I think looking at these two, I don't know why a lot of that stuff would change. In the early going, unless Deontay feels like, and this is the interesting part, unless he feels like he has seen everything that he has and he's going to know the openings a lot better this time around to go and put away Luis Ortiz a lot faster. One thing I think is fascinating with this matchup and what I think you can learn as far as a future fight with Deontay is if he is able to do that, if he is able to figure out Luis Ortiz a lot faster and find a home for that just nuclear right hand, I do think that will show off what would happen in a Tyson Fury rematch, because everybody kind of goes to the well of with Tyson Fury, well, he fought that well against Deontay Wilder and he hadn't even been that active in a while. Okay, I understand that theory, but Deontay had a lot of things that he had to learn in that fight too. Fighting a guy that's a lot bigger than him, learning the range, figuring things out, and he was able to put him down a couple times in that fight. And ultimately, I'm not going into Deontay Wilder fights looking for Deontay Wilder to teach me the ways of boxing. I'm not looking to go and see Deontay Wilder go out there and show me the sweet science. His sweet science is knock your bleeping head off. That's his sweet science, okay? He's not out there to show you the beautiful art of boxing. He's there to take your head clean off. That's what makes him special. That's what makes him box office. That is what's making him the star that he is today. And if you see Deontay Wilder get rid of Luis Ortiz with ease in this fight, then you're saying, well, he is learning something. I don't think he's going to go out there, stick behind his jab, and marvel everybody. He's not going to outbox Luis Ortiz. Not that pedigree, not that skill set, not that style. That's not going to be the case. But he goes into every fight looking to win by knockout. He doesn't go into these fights looking to win by decision. He's not a scorecards guy. So, from my standpoint, I look at this and I think, man, all right, if he is able to go out and eradicate Ortiz a lot faster, that would show me that this guy does learn from his fights, does learn from his opponents, does take notes and store them in a memory bank, and know how to get to his way of victory a lot faster when he gets a second chance at the guy. So that's what I would take. As far as Ortiz is concerned, you gotta. It almost feels like you have to be even more perfect because the margin for error is slim. He has put you down twice. Okay, he has put you to the canvas a couple times, and if it wasn't for those slip ups, you're standing here probably heavyweight champion of the world today. The question is with him, the age. How much better does Luis Ortiz get from here? Is he a guy who is over the hill? I mean, he quite clearly is over the hill from a numbers standpoint, but he's a badass. He's an absolute monster. He goes and he can knock fools out. Can he put Deontay Wilder, this is the real question for him, can he put Deontay Wilder in a sense of fearing any danger at all? Make Deontay Wilder a little bit more gun-shy. Make Deontay Wilder think twice about stuff. Make Deontay Wilder not want to go after the openings that he sees. Can he give him anything to think about in this fight? He did it a little bit. He ambushed him a little bit in the corner where we saw Deontay Wilder maybe wilting, maybe seeing a little bit of danger, maybe starting to see that he's got some things to think about, but can he do it enough to where he may not have to worry about that big bomb that'll make Deontay Wilder a little bit wary about going after him? Those are the things that Luis Ortiz has to keep in mind when it comes to this bout. I just think, as far as a prediction is concerned for me, Deontay Wilder, I feel like he's got the bigger margin for error in this fight. If I were to look at these two guys and say, all right, who doesn't have to be perfect and win, I would say Deontay Wilder. And that may sound crazy because he's the knockout artist and the knockout usually, but he half hits you and you get hurt and you go down. With Luis, it feels like he's going to have to fight a perfect fight to beat Deontay Wilder and not get caught with anything. And that still is tough. Like, he still has to get within that 6'6" range of Deontay Wilder. He has to get inside those telephone poles. He has to give Deontay Wilder something to respect. And if you are going to do that, that is going to leave you open for danger. He is still getting a little bit older. Deontay still is more in his prime, if we're going to talk about these two fighters. Deontay Wilder didn't fight close to the perfect fight against Luis Ortiz the last time. He probably would have lost that fight if it did end up going to the judges. He needed that knockout, but he got it. And, we've seen this in the step up with competition with Deontay Wilder. As the competition gets better, as the boxing gets a little bit better, he is very much being shown to be outclassed as a quote-unquote boxer. But that's not how he wins. All right? Boxing, you can talk about sweet science all you want. You can talk about scorecards. You can talk about the beautiful art behind it all you want. There's multiple ways to win this fight. There's multiple ways to go out there and have your hand raised at the end. And his typically is put you on the canvas and you don't get back up. Some people are freaks, like Tyson Fury, who can get up like The Undertaker. And they can get up from that death touch, and it's unbelievable. But most don't. Most don't go to the scorecards with Deontay Wilder. And when he puts you down, it's over. And if you're telling me over 12 rounds, he's never going to find Luis Ortiz's chin when he found him twice in the first go-around and he didn't really know what he was facing, I just have that. I have a hard time believing that. Now that he knows what he's going in there against, now that he knows what Luis Ortiz brings to the table, I feel like he's going to have almost an easier time to find the guy's chin and put him on the canvas. We're going to need to see something very, very different from Luis Ortiz early on in this fight just to put Deontay Wilder on his toes. If we could see that, then we're in business. If you're a Luis Ortiz fan, I know we have many of them down here in Miami, and the dude's absolutely awesome. This guy, Luis Ortiz, for those who don't know, this guy, he's such a great dude, and you will see him, at every show down here. Every show at the Hard Rock, at the fairgrounds, wherever it is, you're probably going to see Luis Ortiz in the crowd, mingling with people, taking the pictures. He really is. He is beloved down here. But But we do have to be wary of what he's walking into. And what he's walking into is still a guy who put him on the canvas twice and did finish him off. And now that guy knows more about you the second time that he faces you. I tell you one thing, though. If Luis Ortiz wins this fight, and he does capture the WBC title, what a shakeup we have. I mean, you're talking about in all this jawing about when we're going to get Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua and all that stuff. You know, now we're at a point where Luis Ortiz and Andy Ruiz have both titles. That's crazy. That's pretty bananas. And that's why it should be a lesson to these guys. Look, you guys can sit here and dance and play cutesy all you want. But if you have a bona fide super fight, not everybody is Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, and that star power is not going to rub off. If you have a fight that you think is hot and is going to get people going and is going to make you a fan for a while, you take that. You take that opportunity to have that fight. And we may be in a week's time away from both of those guys not having any championships. That's a very real possibility. A very real possibility. Because though I feel like Deontay Wilder, I feel like he is going to win the fight, I don't feel fantastic about it. And I wouldn't be surprised if Luis Ortiz comes out of this thing on top. But I got to make a prediction. And if I'm going to make a prediction, I'm going to take about the guy who doesn't have to be as perfect. He's a little bit younger. I feel like he still has more learning to do. Luis Ortiz has learned everything there is to learn. If he can go out there and if he could fight his fight that he fought last time and avoid being put on the canvas, Luis Ortiz is going to be world champion. But it's a long 36 minutes to not get touched by Deontay Wilder. It's a long time. He doesn't need much of a window. And so that's why I feel like we're looking at these two. Whose chances do you like? I like the guy who doesn't have to be as perfect. I really do. In a heavyweight matchup, the guy who's got more power, the guy who puts everybody down. I know he's not beautiful. I know a lot of boxing pundits watch him and they say, "Ugh, this guy. I don't like what he brings to the table." You can say all you want, but normally when he steps into the ring with one of his opponents, they're getting put on their ass. And a lot of times they're staring up at the lights before the count of 10.